focus to please join us on the stage. And as he joins us on the stage, I would like to request the following dignitaries to come on the stage and witness the launch of the World Silver Survey. Mr. Michael D. Rienzo from Silver Institute. Sir, inviting you to please join us up here. Inviting Mr. Sam, the President of Thailand Silver Exporters Association. Mr. Sam, please join us on the stage, sir. Inviting Dr. Chetan Mehta from IPJA. Dr. Chetan Mehta. Also inviting Mr. Chirag on the stage for the launch of the World Silver Survey. Mr. Chirag, sir. Chetan Mehta sir, please अगर आप हैं आसपास तो मंच पर आ जाइए. Mr. Gautam Chauksy of Hindustan Platinum. Mr. Vijay Murthy, Hindustan Zinc Limited. Okay, so IPJA se we already have Satendra sir up here with us. So Mr. Vijay Murthy from Hindustan Zinc, he's also joined us. So we have everyone up here. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for us to unveil the World Silver Survey 2023. Let me tell you that this book that is being unveiled here, it's already there in your delegate kits. The book is already a part of your delegate kits which have been handed over to you at the time of the registration. So Mr. Chirag is going to be talking about this report with over 17 years of experience in precious metals, trading and research. He has worked with UBS, LL Commodities and UTI Securities. He is responsible for precious metals research and consultancy work for metals focusing on South Asia and Southeast Asia. He's also been a part of the NITI Aayog. I leave it to him to talk a little bit about this report as well. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for the World Silver Report.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you to the organizers for giving us this opportunity. World Silver Survey is a report that Metals Focus prepares for the Silver Institute. This is one of the most definitive global report on the global silver demand and supply market. All of you all have received the copies of this report in the delegate kit. I am very happy to launch this report in India for the first time. We officially announced the launch of the World Silver Survey. We'll have a quick presentation on how the silver market has been in 2022 and how is it likely to be in 2023. This presentation is sort of an excerpt of a larger presentation that we had last week in Mexico and in US. So please sit back. Let me give you a snapshot of how the global silver market has been last year and what we see over the next year or so, and how do we expect demand, supply, prices moving. Thank you very much, and thank you to all the guests on the dais. Thank you very much. Also want to take this opportunity to thank a lot of you all who actually contributed to this report. We've had numerous meetings over the years, and you all have been very kind enough to give out the data, kind enough to provide information, so thank you very much. 2022 has been an interesting year for the precious metals market if you actually look at it. We've had highs and we've seen lows as well. There have been so many factors that have impacted the prices, impacted the demand and supply. And I would say it's been an interesting year for both gold and silver. If you actually, and before I start the presentation, I would like to thank the sponsors of this report, without whose support, this would not have been possible. Well, it's been an interesting year and a half for silver, right? We had in 2021, we had the big Reddit squeeze, where people went on social media and wrote about conspiracy theories on silver, and then we had this huge spike coming in the silver prices, which then again faded out. Then come first quarter, you have the Russia-Ukraine war, which then again led to this huge spike in both gold and silver. And as world probably realized that a lot of it has been priced in, you saw more of fundamentals playing out, interest rate hikes, inflation, yields and those kind of things which dominated the entire landscape. And recently what we've seen is two or three important things playing out. First is the banking crisis in the US, and there are two schools of thought here where a lot of people think that this is going to be another 2008 where a lot of banks will capitulate and this will lead to a broader financial crisis. Whereas there is another group which actually thinks that this is more of a short-term thing and it doesn't lead to a contagion into a broader financial crisis. So you've seen both these things actually play out. And what is interesting is that as different kind of news comes in, different side of the market starts reacting. So you will see in a situation where you've got a stronger data point, suddenly a side of the market which is thinking that US Fed would not cut interest rate, starts dominating the market. Whereas when you see weaker results from some of the banks, you've got the bulls which start kind of dominate market. It's an interesting one. What we believe is that this kind of volatility is likely to continue over the next year or so, till the time there is a clear policy from the Fed which starts actually in a sense influencing the way precious metals behaves. Now, as I mentioned, what has happened in the last 6 months is that given the fact that there is a group of traders or there is a group of financial players who believe that the Fed is near its peak and probably there is a strong possibility of interest rate cut in the US, there have been a lot of long additions which have happened. However, it is important to mention that while there has been long additions in the silver market, these are nowhere close to what we've seen in gold. In fact, gold bulls have reacted far more swiftly than the silver bulls. Now looking at the demand and supply dynamics, in 2022, the mine supply roughly fell by 0.6%. To about 38,000, to about 25,000 tons. You had a couple of things which led to this drop in mine production. Firstly, you had a high base last year. Second, you had reduction in supply from Peru, from China, and this is something which is visible in this chart where you see that we've seen that drop in mine supply from Central and South America. And whereas compared to that, we've seen a bit of increase in North America as well. If you look at 2023, then we expect a marginal increase in mine supply, largely coming in from North America and Central America, whereas in Africa, Europe and Asia, we expect a bit of reduction. It's been an interesting, actually, last couple of years for demand for silver. We've seen industrial demand pick up, quite aggressively. We've actually seen robust demand for silver from industrial usages. And at the forefront of this is photovoltaic, essentially your solar. As more and more countries focus towards, renewable energy, the usage of silver obviously, kind of picks up. We've seen in India as well the government's initiative towards, going in for renewable energy, and we've seen International Solar Alliance, which the Indian government spearheaded. If you look at some of the other, aspects of the market, essentially this is showing how PV growth has been over the last, few years. If you actually look at some of the other aspects of the market, outside the industrial area, jewelry and silverware, the one dominating factor in this is India. India has seen phenomenal growth over the last year or so. Obviously, we had a sharp drop in demand in 2020, and since then the Indian jewelry as well as silverware market has been kind of recovering quite well. If you look at the Indian jewelry market, I think there are some very interesting things which are happening. Firstly, our exports have risen quite a lot. We benefited from the China Plus One strategy, where a lot of I would say European as well as from the US, a lot of companies moved towards buying from India. Second, the Indian jewelry market benefited from lower prices. It also benefited from rising purities. Essentially over the years, Indian jewelry was 60%, 70% silver. Today you've seen a steady increase of 92.5 sterling jewelry. So that also benefited quite a lot. Similarly for silverware market, today and Avinash ji is here, he's got a beautiful store in Hyderabad. I myself have to visit it. But you actually see silverware is now growing prominence in India. You see essentially not just utensils or idols or articles. Today silver is very big in furniture. Probably that's the new usage that we've seen over the last 4 or 5 years, where silver is used very well in furnitures, is used very well in some of the I would say interior pieces, and I think that is something which is also driving a lot of growth for silverware demand in India. Investment demand has always been at the forefront, and obviously this is one thing which is very sensitive to where prices move. In 2022 we saw big rebound from India, or 180% jump in investment demand. You also had US, which was very strong. You had, I think, Australia was very strong. So we've seen, essentially some of the big, investment, some of the big retail investors actually coming back to silver, trying to benefit from the lower prices. And in India, essentially, we always, I always say this: Indians are prima bull in silver. Every time silver prices goes down, you see people actually going to shops, going to jewelers, speaking to bullion dealers to buy silver. And last year was very similar to that, what we saw in India. In 2022, as I said, jewelry and silverware was a big jump, essentially driven by India, followed by physical investment, and then we had a very good industrial as well as industrial demand. Moving on to 2023, global supply is likely to increase marginally. Essentially, we're going to look at mine supply coming on track from Central America, South America, and North America. For demand, it's an interesting one. So while industrial demand continues to benefit from new usage, from electrification, automation, photovoltaic, essentially the jewelry and silverware demand is likely to see normalization, especially in India. So this drag that you see is essentially something which is coming from India, where we expect more of normalization of demand compared to the big jump that we saw in 2022. So we believe that there is going to be a deficit in the market, and this deficit we believe that it would likely to remain for another couple of years or so. Looking at the prices, this is an interesting one actually. We believe that average silver price in 2023 could actually drop by 3%. And while a lot of people ask us that if there is deficit in the market, why is silver price is expected to go down? So I think there are a couple of factors, which are important to look at. First is, we believe that, while there is this growing clamor that Fed would actually cut interest rate, we believe that Fed could actually hold a bit for long. We do not think that, there is market is currently estimating 120 basis point cut in second half of 2023. We do not believe, that is a scenario which is likely to happen. We also do not believe that the current crisis is sort of a contagion of sorts, which is likely to, probably move on to a larger banking crisis. This is a more smaller pocket. So inflation continues to remain a bit sticky. We believe that, the interest rate cuts may not happen, and that is why, as other precious metals, especially gold, starts moving down, you will see silver also, kind of falling in, and that is why we have I would say not a significantly bearish, but a mildly bearish, view on silver, where we expect the average silver price to drop by 3% to $21.2 in 2023. That's it. That's a very short and quick, presentation on the silver market. If anyone of you all have any questions, I'm happy to take them on a one-on-one basis. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot.